Hey my beauties, how are you today? I have got a great DIY for you, really inspired by Hashtag Hijab's blog post. I'm going to be collaborating on this video with her. I will be showing you how I made this skirt step by step, and then she will put together a lookbook based on this skirt on her blog post. I will be using 2 meters of this fabric, so what you need to do first is fold it in half and then half again. These are the 4 pieces that you will be using. However, just to make it easier for me to cut, I'm going to fold it again in half, making sure that the cut of the fabric is facing the front. Now taking some hijab pins, pin down the folded side. This is just to make sure that the fabric doesn't move while you're cutting. Okay, so while I'm pinning this down, I'm going to give you the measurements for the length of the skirt. Start by measuring yourself from your feet to your waist. Okay, so I'm 115 centimeters. Elastic that I will be using for the back of the skirt is 5 centimeters. So I will need to add 10 centimeters to the length of my skirt. I will also need to add 2 centimeters for the bottom seam allowance and for the top seam allowance. So the total length of my skirt should be 129 centimeters. That you have pinned down the fabric, you are ready to cut the length of the skirt. Make sure that you use a sharp pair of fabric scissors. I don't have any chalk, so I'm going to be using the fabric tape as a rough guide. Okay, so now you need to measure your waist. You need to measure the largest part of your waist. As this skirt will not have a zip, you need to make sure that you can pull it up when you wear it. Okay, so I was roughly 100 centimeters. As you have folded the fabric in 4 parts, you will need to divide the 100 centimeters in 4, which gives you 25 centimeters. But then we folded the fabric again, so you now need to divide the 25 in half, which gives you 12.5 centimeters. You need to give yourself some seam allowance, so you need to add 2 centimeters to 12.5 centimeters. Gives you a grand total of 14.5 centimeters. Once you have marked up the fabric, you are ready to cut. So place your measuring tape at 14.5 centimeters from the waist and put it on an angle so it goes to right at the corner of the bottom. Make sure that you pin this down and you have a marking chalk to guide you. Okay, so now that you're done with the cutting, you're ready to sew. Make sure that you place one of the parts so the right way is facing up, and then place the other part on top of it. Make sure that the right face is facing down. You need to now sew the length of the skirt, so make sure that when you do, you start from the bottom up. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Open it up and place another part on top of this one. And now sew the length of the skirt. Make sure that you start from the bottom. Repeat this until you have attached all 4 parts together. Also, I would recommend, if you are using a printed fabric, try and match the patterns as you are sewing. Okay, so this is what you should have. Okay, so now find a side that you would like to use as the front. Okay, so now we need to measure our waist. So I was 75 centimeters. You now need to do is measure one section of the skirt. This is roughly 35 centimeters. Okay, so to measure out the waistband, what you need to do is take away 35 centimeters from 75 centimeters, minus 5 more centimeters to give you a bit of stretch to keep your skirt up. Start by sewing the elastic on the seam of the skirt, making sure that this is away from the front of the skirt. Do the same for the other side. Don't forget, you will need to keep away roughly 1 to 1.5 centimeters from the top to give yourself seam allowance. Make sure you go over a couple of times to keep it very strong. Okay, so this is what it should look like. This is the front and this is the back. Make sure that you have sewn the elastic on the seam. The elastic will need to be sewn all around the back of the skirt. Okay, so to sew the belt on the back of the skirt, what you need to do is fold the belt over once, fold in the seam. Okay, now sew this all around the back of the skirt. And remember, you only want to sew the fabric and not the belt to the fabric. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Okay, so you can see from the skirt that there is no seam at the top. So all I have done here is folded the fabric over and just sewn it so the fabric doesn't fray. Okay, so all you now have to do is sew the bottom of the skirt. The fabric on the bottom is not going to fray. All I have done is folded it over once and then sewed it all the way around. If you think that your fabric will fray, I would recommend you fold it over twice and then sew all the way around. Also, Hashtag Hijab will be putting a lookbook together based on this skirt, so definitely check out her blog post for inspirational ideas. Added her link in the description box. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and if you decide to make this, then don't forget to show me on Instagram. Until next time, bye bye.